They thought they could betray you and walk away without consequences. They thought the lies, the manipulation, and the backstabbing would go unnoticed. You stayed quiet. You didn't fight back. You didn't expose them. Why? Because deep down, you knew something they didn't. You knew that God sees everything, every word spoken behind your back, every moment you were left in pain, every time you cried yourself to sleep, wondering why people you gave your heart to turned against you. They mocked your struggle, but God was counting every tear, every sleepless night, and every silent battle. You see, when you move with a pure heart, you don't have to chase revenge. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Because while they were busy plotting against you, God was already preparing their downfall. The thing about karma, it never shows up when people expect it. It comes when they think they've won, when they believe they've destroyed you, when they think they've moved on and escaped judgment. That's when everything starts falling apart. You may not have seen it yet, but trust me, their world is already crumbling. Not because you wished harm on them, but because God doesn't let people get away with breaking a soul. He was protecting. God doesn't punish them when you're watching. He waits until you've healed, until you've elevated, until you've moved on. Then he delivers everything they tried to destroy you with, right back to them. They thought your silence was weakness. They laughed while you suffered in silence. But what they never realized, your silence was protection. Your isolation was preparation. Your pain was transformation. And now, you're rising. You're healing. And they can feel it. They feel your absence. They feel the loss of your energy. And worse, they feel the weight of what they did to you. Because that's what karma does. It makes them sit with the version of themselves that hurt you. And that's a prison they'll never escape. They thought your silence meant defeat, that your lack of reaction was weakness, that walking away was surrender. But what they never understood, your silence wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. You could have exposed them. You could have fought back. You had the power to ruin them, the same way they tried to ruin you. But you didn't. Why? Because you knew something they didn't. When you move with a clean heart, you don't chase revenge. You let God handle what you can't see. The universe moves slow, but when karma arrives, it never misses. See, that's the thing about choosing peace. It's not about letting them win. It's about trusting that God's justice hits harder than any revenge ever could. And now, while you've been healing, while you've been rising in silence, while you've been leveling up, their karma has already begun. They may not show it. They may pretend to be unbothered, but behind closed doors, their world is falling apart. They're losing sleep. Opportunities are slipping through their hands. And the people they once used to turn against you, they're starting to see the truth, because that's how karma works. It doesn't come when you're watching. It comes when you've let go, when you've made peace with the pain. And now, God is handling them in ways you'll never have to see. When you remove yourself from the battle, God fights for you. You thought you lost when you walked away. You thought choosing silence meant you let them win. But what you really did was set yourself free. And now, while you're rising in peace, they're drowning in the same darkness they tried to throw you in. Because what they did to you, it didn't go unnoticed. Every lie, every betrayal, every moment they laughed while you suffered. God was watching. And now, karma is moving in silence. They can run from people. They can manipulate others. But they can't run from God. And that's why their soul is restless. You never had to prove your worth to them. You just had to let them lose access to you. God handled the rest. And you've already won. You see, God doesn't have to punish them. He lets people destroy themselves. And that's exactly what's happening now. They thought they broke you, thought they crushed your soul and walked away untouched. But what they didn't realize, every action carries a price. Every betrayal comes with a debt. And now, they're paying it. At first, it looked like they won. They laughed while you cried. They celebrated while you suffered. But while you were healing in silence, the darkness they sent your way, it found its way back to them. They thought they destroyed you. But all they did was plant the seeds of their own suffering. Look at them now, surrounded by people, yet feeling empty, chasing temporary highs, but never finding peace, jumping from one distraction to the next, trying to outrun the guilt that eats them alive. Because that's the thing about karma. It's quiet, it's slow, and it always hits where it hurts the most, the soul. You don't see their sleepless nights. You don't hear the thoughts that haunt them when the world goes quiet. You don't feel the emptiness they carry everywhere they go. But trust me, they feel it. They thought they could replace you, move on like you never mattered. But what they lost, they'll never find again. Because God doesn't bless people who move with dirty hands. You can fake happiness for the world, but you can't fake peace with your own soul. And now, every lie they told is coming back to them. Every person they manipulated is turning against them. Every mask they wore is slipping. This is their curse, to watch you rise, to watch you heal, to watch you become everything they tried to destroy. And the worst part? They can't touch you anymore. They lost access to your energy. They lost the only real thing they ever had. They lost you. And that will haunt them for a lifetime. So let them act unbothered. Let them pretend they've moved on. Because deep down, they know exactly what they did. And now, they're drowning in the same pain they once laughed at. And you never had to lift a finger. God handled it all. They thought they ended you. Thought the pain they caused would leave you broken, bitter, and stuck. But what they never expected was your rise. You see, that's the thing about people who move with bad intentions. They don't understand that God turns betrayal into fuel. That pain becomes power when it falls into the hands of the right soul. God didn't just watch what they did to you. He's making them watch you become everything they tried to destroy. Now they're watching from a distance, watching you heal, watching you elevate, watching you step into the version of yourself that they were never strong enough to handle. And it burns them, because deep down, they know the truth. You didn't lose them. They lost you. And now, there's no coming back. See, they never thought you'd survive without them. They expected you to chase them, beg for closure, drown in the heartbreak they caused. But instead, you disappeared. You leveled up in silence. And you let God handle the ones who thought they got away with hurting you. Now, every time they see you winning, every time they hear your name, every time they realize that you're becoming unstoppable without them, It eats them alive. They try to act unbothered. Try to replace you. Try to find peace in places that only brought them temporary pleasure. But no matter how far they run, the truth follows them. You weren't supposed to survive, but God made sure you did. And now, your success is the karma they can't escape. And that's the punishment they'll carry for life, watching you glow in rooms they'll never have access to, watching you build a future they thought they destroyed, watching you become exactly what they feared, untouchable. They tried to break you, but all they did was push you closer to the version of yourself you were always meant to be. Now, your growth is their reminder of what they lost, of what they'll never find again, and of the price they'll pay for betraying someone who was sent by God to bless them. You stayed silent. God handled the rest. And now, your elevation is their greatest punishment. They thought they could move on, thought time would bury the damage they caused. But what they didn't know was that karma doesn't work on your schedule. You see, the universe doesn't need to strike them publicly. God's punishment is far more brutal. He doesn't break their body, he breaks their mind. No apology can fix a heart they shattered. And now, their guilt will be their prison. They laugh with others, smile for the world, pretend they're unbothered. But the moment they're alone, when the world goes quiet and there's no one to distract them, that's when it hits. The memories, the betrayal, the pain they caused you. It all comes crashing down. Because that's how karma works. It doesn't strike when they expect it. It waits patiently. Then it poisons their mind from the inside out. Now they can't sleep, can't find peace, can't look in the mirror without seeing the damage they left behind. They thought they were breaking you, but what they really did was curse themselves, because you can fake happiness. You can distract yourself with people and places, but you can't run from your own conscience. And now, their mind replays every moment they wronged you, every time they lied, every time they manipulated, every time they betrayed your trust, and it haunts them. The guilt they ignored back then has become the punishment they can't escape now. They can't go back and undo it. They can't replace what they lost. And worst of all, you're no longer there to forgive them. That's what eats them alive. Not just that they hurt you, but that they lost access to someone who genuinely cared. And God, He saw it all. Every tear, every silent battle, every moment you kept going when the pain was unbearable. And now, He's making them feel every ounce of what they put you through their empty relationships, through their sleepless nights, through the regret that never leaves their soul. You healed, you moved on, and now their mind is the battlefield they can't escape from. They thought they got away with it, but karma, it never forgets. They thought they escaped, thought life would go on without consequences. But what they didn't realize, God moves in silence. See, karma doesn't come with thunder or flames. It doesn't announce itself. It creeps in quietly, piece by piece, until everything they built starts falling apart. God isn't punishing them, He's revealing them. At first it's subtle. Their relationships start to feel empty. The people they once manipulated begin to turn on them. Their fake happiness starts to crack. And slowly, the mask they wore for so long begins to slip. They might have fooled others, but they never fooled God. He saw every betrayal, every lie, every time they used your kindness as weakness. And now, he's stripping them of everything they gained through deception. The fake friendships, gone. The temporary success, fading. The validation they craved, slipping through their fingers. You don't have to expose them. Their own actions are doing that for you. People around them are starting to see the truth, see the darkness they tried to hide, see the lies behind their smile. They thought they were untouchable, thought they could manipulate, betray, and walk away untouched. But God, He's not punishing them. He's letting the world see who they really are. And that's worse than any revenge, because when you lose people's trust, when your name becomes attached to betrayals or psyche, when your actions start catching up to you, there's no coming back from that. Now, everywhere they turn, they face rejection. The doors they once walked through with ease are closing. The people they once controlled are waking up. They thought they were in control, but God was always 2 steps ahead. Everything they built on lies is crumbling. And the best part, you didn't have to lift a finger. All you did was let go. You chose peace. You chose silence. And in that silence, God started preparing their fall. They thought they destroyed you. But what they really did was set themselves up for their own downfall. And now, you get to watch, while everything they once valued turns to dust. They expected you to fight, to scream, to beg for closure, but you gave them nothing. No words, no reaction, no attention, just silence. And that's what's destroying them. They thought they broke you, but all they did was awaken something they'll never have: peace. See, people who operate from a place of darkness thrive off your energy. They want your pain. They crave your reaction, because that's how they feel powerful. But when you chose silence, when you chose peace, you stripped them of that power. And now, they're stuck, alone with their guilt, alone with the lies they told, alone with the damage they caused. Your silence became their mirror. And every time they look at themselves, they see the betrayal, the manipulation, the loss. You never had to destroy them. You just had to heal. Because your healing is the one thing they never expected. They thought you'd never recover, never move on, never rise again. But here you are, thriving, evolving, untouchable. And the best part? They have to watch from a distance, watch you grow, watch you level up, watch you become everything they tried to destroy. It burns them. It eats them alive. Because deep down, they know. They lost something real. And now, they're stuck in the mess they created. God saw what they did to you, and now He's making them watch you become everything they prayed you'd never be. Your silence became your revenge. Your success became their punishment. And your peace? That's something they'll never find. Because while you moved on, they're trapped in the prison of their own mind. And that's karma in its purest form. You've already won. You already healed. You already let go. And that's exactly why karma is hitting them harder. Because while they're still trapped in the same toxic cycles, while they're haunted by the lies, the betrayal, and the damage they caused, you've elevated. You've evolved. You've escaped. You don't need to watch their downfall. God's already handling it. And your success? That's just part of their punishment. See, when you truly let go, When you stop chasing justice, that's when God steps in. And now, everything they did to you, every sleepless night, every tear, every moment of self-doubt, it's coming back to them, tenfold. Not because you wished for it, not because you plotted revenge, but because what you put into this world always finds its way back. Karma doesn't miss, and God never forgets. They thought they could do you dirty and walk away. Thought they could leave you broken and never face the consequences. But what they didn't know was that God saw everything, the lies, the manipulation, the betrayal. And now, He's making them face it, slowly, silently, in ways they can't escape. While you've been leveling up, they've been sinking deeper. While you've been building your peace, they've been drowning in regret. While you've been rising higher, they've been falling apart. You moved on. They're stuck in the past. That's how karma works. The best part? You don't even have to witness their downfall, because you're too busy winning, too busy healing, too busy living the life they prayed you'd never reach. God watched what they did to you, and now their karma is here. And you're free.